tell us, how do we become an influencer in 14 minutes?
Oh my goodness.
14 minutes.
Oh my goodness. It's lovely to see you. And I do think one of the things that's really, really important that we say to people, because I get asked this question quite a lot, particularly a lot of girls want to become like the next beauty influencer. The reality is that it takes time. Nothing happens overnight. And what you need to do is think about what your passion is, what you are either good at, what you believe in. And start to create great content. And some of the most successful influencers didn't start out yesterday. They've been doing it for quite some time. And they're either educating us, they're either inspiring us, or they're making us laugh. Now, there are lots of other things around being a successful influencer as well.
I know you're loving it, and Gordon is an amazing speaker, and it's a very exciting book. But don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button right now. It'll just take a second, but you'll get better content because we'll be encouraged to keep giving you some fantastic content. So do it right now before you go ahead. Just hit the like button and the subscribe button right now so that we get encouraged, we know you're liking it, and we can keep getting you great content. Now go ahead and watch the rest of it.
These individuals that are, professional influencers now are multi-talented, so they are very digitally savvy. They're often community managers, so they're able to engage and listen to their audience and make sure that they are giving them value all of the time. Because what you don't want is, if you're following a particular influencer, you want to make sure that they're listening to you. If you've got a really good comment, or you're liking some of the things that they're putting out on video or posts, you want to feel that you're part of that. And that's why some of the great ones do that a lot. They're inspiring with quotes, all sorts of things like.
What is the recipe?
So it's a good question. So I think first and foremost, you've got to be consistent with your content. So understand when your audience is likely to be online. There's no point in posting content at 6 o'clock in the morning if they're not going to be around. Because don't forget, the way the algorithms on social media work is you're only seeing a very small percentage of what you are putting, your audience are only seeing a very small percentage of what's being put out. And as people like and comment on that content, then more of it is being seen by your follower base. So don't assume always that every time you put a post out or a story or anything else on the social media, that everybody's going to see it. So it's really important that you are consistent with what you do. I think as well is that you use technology where you can to inspire people. I mean, some of the video content at the moment is truly amazing. And actually, if you see the rise, video content is shared a lot more than the normal static posts. So I think that's another good tip to be aware of. You also need to be looking at some of the hashtags that are common. You can actually search for like hashtag generators. You can have your own unique hashtag, but you can actually look at some of the more popular hashtags. So if you were even like a fishing expert, fly fishing expert, which is super niche, actually the more niche you are, the better, because you're more likely to be found. But you need to be consistent with what you're doing, and it might be that you go and have a look at hashtag fly fishing, and see how many people are looking at those types of hashtags. So it's doing your research popular, doing your popular research. The other thing to look at is tagging people, following other people within your niche that you would like to be part of that conversation, and sharing and liking some of their content, because that's what you want to do, is build up your network and community. So I think those are just a few little tips, and monitor it, analyze it. That's the really, really important thing. Have a look at the attributes of why some content did better than others. This is what the professional influencers do all of the time. I mean, even with Instagram, you've got a business account that you can set up. You can see how many people are following you, whether they're male or female, what location they're in, and you've got almost instant analytics. And I think that's really important. And that's what the big guys do. That's what the professional influencers do. They test.
So it's a full-time job.
Well, it can be. I mean, the bigger operators have got whole teams doing this.
Wow. So you had some really interesting examples of influencers who have really cracked the code. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so there's and I tell you what I love are the ones that are a little bit different. There's a lady called, a young girl actually called Tiana Wilson, and she runs a YouTube channel called Toys and Me, and she's got over 11 million subscribers on YouTube, really successful. And she did a collaboration with a license to have her own range of clothing with a social media agency, and it was being promoted at a big shopping centre in northern England, and literally the whole area pretty much came to a standstill. There were 20,000 people that came to this opening, and bearing in mind it was only a pop-up store for 2 days. Phenomenally successful, products being sold every 20 seconds. I mean, she was there for a meet and greet. And then they did a collaboration with a major retailer, which Asda. And what they did in this big store was and I think it was the office of one of the managers upstairs, and they recreated her own room. So actually, when the viewers were watching her, they assumed that she was at her own home. But actually, when she then went over to the window and pulled her curtains, the whole of the Asda retail store was there. So, and you can get my product at this store here, which I think is fantastic. There are lots of other examples of niche. There's a guy called the Yacht Guy, and what he does is he goes and takes video content of super yachts. So it's a real inside look. And some of the big yacht brands were realizing this was a great opportunity to engage with this individual, because he was effectively telling their story to a huge audience. Super Blondie is another one with 6-7 million viewers on YouTube, and she's an Australian influencer. And what she does is she gives a real insight to supercars, and she tends to get these cars that are, you know, limited edition, Rolls-Royce, Porsches, all with these buttons, and, you know, oh, it's super cool, you know. And there are loads of others. There's even an 80-year-old influencer called I think her name is Baddie Winkle. She's not got nearly 4 million followers. But it's all about making sure that you provide content that is relevant to your audience. And that's one of the most important things. When you start to go off topic or be all things to all people, then you can so lose your audience.
How do people make money by being an influencer?
So they make money in all sorts of ways, through brand partnerships. So they'll actually promote brands on their channel. And again, sometimes companies that reach out to influencers, they don't always get a response. And sometimes it's as high as like 65%. And that's because an influencer's audience is precious to them. They've worked a long while to build this audience. And what they want to do is promote a brand that resonates with their audience. Might well be an exclusive access to an event, for example, so they can bring their audience with them. It might mean that it's an affiliate partnership with a retail clothing brand, and so their followers get a discount on a particular product line. It might mean it's a new product launch, for example, and their followers get an early access before it's made into a general release. Might mean it's a download app, and they get a discount. So they'll make money through brand partnerships. Some of them will also have their own membership communities, so that they'll provide exclusive access to content behind a paywall. They will make money from guest appearances, and in fact, I've been noticing even on Clubhouse now there's moderators that are influencers and are paid by brands to moderate rooms. So that's another interesting development. The last one, which I think is really exciting as a development, is when they are co-creating products. So they're not amplifying, they've actually got their own product line, and they'll be working with a specific supplier. And I think because they've been involved in the creative process right from the start, they're more, and of course they'll get a bigger return on that. And that's something that has definitely been happening in China, which in many ways is further ahead in influencer marketing than the rest of the world.
Tell us about influencer marketing in China.
Well, I'm fascinated by it because it's very commercially driven. In fact, I've got to tell you one great story about an individual called Becky Lai. And Becky Lai famously sold 100 that's cars, in less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
So they call them KOLs, actually, key opinion leaders. And the followings of some of these individuals is absolutely enormous, much, much higher than, I think there's less influencers in China, but those that are significantly bigger. And it's almost like fan worship, which really does fascinate me in the way that they are, connecting with their followers. And I mean, I can't believe that 100 people are literally going and buying, lots of cost for buying a new car, and then that's happening in less than 5 minutes. So
wow. And I noticed that in all the ways of earning money, you still haven't mentioned advertising that you get from the channel itself or YouTube or
Sorry, you're right. Yes,
so
you're right.
So it's amazing that that is obviously a lot, but it's still insignificant compared to what you can do with deals.
Actually, I want to just mention something on that. Yeah, so you can obviously generate money through YouTube, and I missed that out. But I want to just share the great thing about YouTube is it has evergreen content. So I don't know if you know the famous video called "Charlie Bit My Finger." It's quite renowned. It's been around for 13 years. And that now has topped 879 million views when I looked at it the other day. And that's, bearing in mind that was generated 13 years ago, that will still be generating income for the people that uploaded that video. In fact, the two children that were part of that video did a remake just, I think, last year ago when they were a lot older, and even then that generated 6 million views.
Wow. Okay. So what is the technology that we need to do this?
So yes, you can start small, and you can go directly on Instagram or LinkedIn, do your homework. But there are also much quicker ways to do that through influencer platforms, which are like huge, Excel spreadsheets, if you will. They're great platforms for you to find influencers. And what it will do is it will tell you where those are located, what their follower base is like, what their interests are.
Which are the ones which are the ones you would recommend the most out of these?
So there is, you can have a look at Takumi, which is a good example of one. Open Influence is another one. There is also a very good one for B2B influencers called Analytica. And that's, when I say B2B, I mean, for those of you that don't know, business to business. So there are lots of influencers that we would call thought leaders, and those could well be speakers, authors. They could be, technical experts, academics even, but they really, really do understand their niche, and they understand their audience really well. And by the way, it's not always about numbers of followers, it's about relevance. So if somebody's got a small community, but they're all made up of professors, their knowledge base is huge. So remember, influence isn't always about the numbers, it's about the relevance and the engagement within that.
Well, that was great talking to you. And because we have a 14-minute deadline, I think that that's all that we could fit in. But Influencer Marketing Strategy is the book that everybody needs to get. And it's a brilliant book by you, Gordon. So congratulations about it. And really looking forward to a lot of people reading Influencer Marketing Strategy. And I hope this video and the podcast becomes an influencer to have people buy that book.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much, Kanveer, for your time today.
Thank you.